Good evening. My name is Thomas Lopez-Pierre, and I am the president and CEO of the Black Real Estate Forum, LLC, and the fund managers for BREF Fund number I, LLC, BREF Fund number II, LLC, and BREF Debt Capital, LLC. We are social impact private equity real estate funds that raises capital exclusively from Black accredited investors, deploys that capital with Black real estate entrepreneurs in Black neighborhoods for the purpose of building wealth and creating jobs. Thank you for joining us this evening. We are going to be giving our preliminary annual end of the year report, have a conversation with some of our investors and some of the entrepreneurs that we've invested with, and hear from you and the general public if you have any questions. We very much would like to have you join us as investors. Our purpose is, I tell people, our goal is to generate significant returns for you, but also we believe that if we increase wealth in our community, that we can increase the jobs in our community, and then if we increase the jobs in our community, we can increase the quality of life in our community, and thus reduce the incarceration rate, because more Black men that are working is a great way to reduce the incarceration rate. It works for every other community, and we believe it can work for us. If we come together as people and pull our capital together to own the real estate in our communities. So let me introduce our panelists, and as we go through the report, we're going to start with Dr. Willie Parker. If you would take 10 minutes to introduce yourself.
I don't need 10 minutes, but I'm
no, I said 10. Did I say 10 minutes? I meant 10 seconds. Okay. Sorry.
I'm Dr. Willie Parker. I am a board certified obstetrician gynecologist and women's reproductive health advocate, and I reside in a southern state. And I'm an investor in this fund because I believe in if we all stick together, we can thrive. So I'm happy to be on this panel.
Very good. Glad to have you. And the young lady on the panel, Beatrice, if you could say 10 seconds.
Sorry, I'm mute. Good evening, everyone. My name is Beatrice Kezo. I am a practicing attorney in the state of Florida and a member of the, I think it's BREF I, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And that's it.
Very good. Very good. And she helps increase the child support payments for families in the great state of Florida. So bravo. Matthew Scott, please introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Matthew Scott. I'm the former managing editor of Black Enterprise. I'm an investor in the fund, and just here to make sure that we explain to folks that investing is the way to make more money and to keep our communities thriving. Glad to be here.
Very good, very good. Matthew Scott was our first investor, and we recently awarded him an award to that distinction. He was the first one to invest, so we're glad to have him on board. Larry Thomas, sir, thank you. Larry Thomas is one of the Black entrepreneurs that we've invested with. His partner is one of our investors, Ascari Foy, and we're glad that we're doing a second deal with him. And so we're going to be talking about it. So Larry, take 10 seconds to introduce yourself.
Well, you've already introduced yourself for me, so I'll just continue on that. My name is Larry Thomas. As he mentioned, I am one of the investors that the funds, one of the contractors and investors that kind of, help secure the investment for the fund and make sure that your funds are secured in great real estate deals across the metropolitan area and sometimes in Boston, and look forward to working and continuing to invest in with this group.
Very good. And Marcus Lopez-Pierre, the deputy fund manager. Introduce yourself, Marcus.
I'm Marcus Lopez-Pierre. I'm the deputy fund manager. Currently a freshman student at City College in New York. and I'm looking to become a securities lawyer,
What's your major?
political science.
And what real estate certifications have you achieved recently?
I recently became a real estate salesperson in New York.
Congratulations. Very good. And how old are you?
18.
Very good. So not only must we build wealth in our community, but communities are a grouping of families, and at the core of the community is the family. And so I'm doing my best to help provide a legacy for the Lopez-Pierre family by having my son follow in the footsteps and take what we're doing to the next level. So I'm so glad to have him here this evening. As you can imagine, I'm a proud father. Okay, so Marcus, pull up the now, if there's any questions from people that are on the panel, please put them in the box. Marcus will look for them. Marcus, put the video, not the video, the website, I'm sorry. Is it up? Oh, let me turn. And let me give a special shout out to Thurman. I see that you're here, Thurman Cohen. Very good brother. Okay, Marcus, let's start it from this is the beginning, right?
Yes.
Okay, so first, let me give some numbers. So the fund was started 2.5 years ago. The idea is that the plan is to operate the fund for about 3 to 5 years, then build a track record of excellent returns, and then launch a Reg A plus offering. Marcus, do me a favor, when you get a chance, Google SEC Reg A plus offering and put the definition. It's probably the best one is probably Investopedia. Take that and put that in the link so people can look up and see what a Reg A offering is. A Reg A offering is like a mini public offering that allows you to raise up to $75 million a year from non-accredited investors. Excuse me, we're in New York, so we have ambulance going by, or police, or fire. Anyway, a SEC Reg A plus offering is a mini public offering, in effect, where you get to raise up to $75 million from unaccredited investors. There are two types of investors: accredited investors like Beatrice and Willie and Matthew and Larry. These are people with incomes over $200,000 a year, and then everybody else under that is what you call a non-accredited investor. And so launching a Reg A plus offering is very important, because if you want to raise money from Black folks, the overwhelming majority of Black people do not make over $200,000 a year. So if we want to reach the masses, we have to do it in a way that the law allows us. So we're very excited about our plans to launch a Reg A offering. So we plan to do that in about 2 to 3 years, but we want to do it from a position of having a successful track record. So we're basically launched our funds under the premise of providing strong returns for our investors. So to date, we have raised about $1 million in equity, debt, capital. We have raised $305,000 in equity capital. We borrowed from our debt fund $205,000. We have $175,000 in promissory notes. We have about $140,000 in membership fees. We have a mortgage for $315,000. So we're at about almost $1 million in debt and equity. And our goal in 2024 is to raise a total of $1 million in equity with the launching of our Fund II. And our Fund II will enable us to invest in 10 properties. We seek to give entrepreneurs an investment of $100,000, no more than $100,000, so that we can reduce our exposure. So we want to give 10 Black real estate entrepreneurs $100,000 each. They would take that $100,000 and go invest it in projects. And then we would take the returns and distribute it to our investors. Our target goal is to give our investors more than 15% a year. And I'm going to give you an example on how we achieve that. So Marcus, do me a favor, mute the sound, but play the video of me and Larry, and start it in the middle where we're walking into the property. No, that's Larry right there. Yeah. So everybody, Larry, why don't you speak on this?
Larry, you're on mute.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I said this is an investment opportunity we have here in the Levittown area of Long Island. This property, our plans for this property is to really tear it down completely and build a 35 to 4,500 square foot house. Based on our new evaluation, we found that building a basement will give us a competitive edge. So what we're going to also do is we've restructured the plans and we're going to include a basement on this project. These homes in this area range anywhere from 1.1 to 1.3 million dollars. And we have found that there's a great trend in this area where, because of the immaculate school districts that they have in this area and the surrounding areas, we're finding that there's a lot of competition and there's a lot of opportunities in this sector for us to capitalize on over the next few years.
And what was the acquisition cost for this property?
So the acquisition cost of this property was $370,000.
And how much debt did you put on the property?
Well, our proposal in reference to the construction will probably put about $450,000 in debt, and
Plus
we'll
plus the acquisition costs. So the
plus the
budget
acquisition costs.
And is the acquisition cost debt and equity?
It's debt and equity, correct.
Okay. So what's the total budget for this property?
The total budget, all in cost, ground up construction, is roughly around $750,000 to $800,000.
Mm-hmm. And you think you'll be able to sell this for how much?
Anywhere from the range of 1.2 to 1.3 million.
Very good. And I know the answer to this question, but how much did the fund invest with you?
The fund invested $100,000 with us on this property.
Right. And what's the fund's angle in this deal? How does the fund benefit?
Well, the fund benefits from being able to be an investor in this project and earn a very, very lucrative return on their investment within a 12-month span. We have a great relationship with working with the fund and working with Mr. Pierre Thomas, and really being able to produce this high return for the fund on a year-to-year basis.
So what he means lucrative, when we invest with an entrepreneur, we require a 50% return on our money. So we invest $100,000, they have to return us our principal $100,000 within a year, plus our $50,000 investment income, or for lack of a better word, profit. We then take that $50,000 and we use it to either reinvest it in the fund or project it to be part of distributions at some time in the future. And we have been, this is our second deal with Larry and his partner, and we've been very impressed with their abilities to maneuver around challenges, and their ethics and their character has helped build confidence among the core group of people that help me make decisions on terms of who to invest with regard to investor capital. So we're honored to have you as one of the Black entrepreneurs that we invest with. On a philosophical level, how important is it for you because money's green, I'm sure, it's, you don't have any problem getting white people to give you debt and equity. I'm sure you don't really need our money. I'm sure they're lining up, with tractor trailer trucks to give you capital. So, how helpful has it been for a group of Black doctors and lawyers to come together and provide you a lifeline? I'm sorry, did I say a lifeline? I meant an access to equity capital.
No, thank you. That's a great question. And that's been one of the most important factor of this journey. As a African American small business owner, and us dealing in this space where it's predominantly controlled and it's predominantly expedited by other ethnicity, it's very important for us as African Americans to invest together, promote together, and basically enhance our space in this field. The other thing is that's most important to me is being able to provide value-added jobs to folks within our community. So majority of our team, I would say 98% of our team, of course, there's subcontractors that we have to get involved because of the area that we're in, but 98% of our team is from the African American Hispanic descent. And to me, that brings a lot of value to what we're trying to do here. So we're also investing and we're also creating value-added jobs that is providing more value and providing more wealth to our communities that we are a part of ourselves. So it's a great opportunity to partner with an investment fund of this nature and being able to build, in this space of real estate and, investing.
Right. So one of the conversations that I've had with why it's challenging. I mean, we have a doctor and a lawyer here on the panel, and what's interesting is doctors and lawyers make up the largest demographic group of investors in our fund. Doctors are number one, and then rounding out second place lawyers, and actually female lawyers at that too. And one of the conversations I've had with them is that they've said to me, Thomas, I'm doing really well. My money's with Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch, or one of these other firms. I would like to put it with people like us that look like us, but I'm too busy to be doing the vetting. And so it's really important and really valuable to have a fund like ours that will do the vetting and then build a brand where we've identified real estate professionals that can execute. So why don't we start with you, Beatrice? Why don't you tell me, you're a mother, a lawyer, a professional, homeowner. Why don't you tell me just in terms of your wealth plan, what was your thinking in terms of investing with people that look like you and wanting to ensure that your capital was protected?
Well, for me, I think that the whole concept of us putting our monies together and we're able to accomplish greater things than if each and every one of us, even though we're each doing it separately, because I do have separate investments from what I do with the fund, but just think of the idea of all the professionals, right, putting their monies together and investing in communities that are predominantly, Black, Hispanics, and you usually talk about it where you're saying that a lot of these property owners or investors or builders, they cannot get a loan from a regular bank or a mortgage or what have you. And if we can step in and, like you said, and give them a lifeline, give them a $50,000, $100,000 loan, that they're able to save a home, save a family from having to move out of the community. I guess we're able to kill two birds with one stone, right? We're making money and we're making sure that we're investing in predominantly Black and Hispanic communities. So for me, it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. And Dr. Parker?
Well, if I could piggyback on Madam Beatrice and say what she said in a little different way, I too am of the mind that doing good and doing well aren't mutually exclusive. And the Dr. King used to say that personal wealth is a function of the commonwealth. And our sense of our collective well-being is related to the notion that we are our siblings' keeper. I was going to say my brother's keeper, but I'm trying to shape my language. I'm more into kinship, right? So I'm not only my brother's keeper, I'm my sister's keeper. And so for me, it's also a means of if I'm going to, Reginald Lewis, who founded the Beatrice Corporation,
I have his book in
and
my library. I have his book in
yeah,
my library.
he did one of the largest deals, Beatrice Foods. Now his widow, Loida Lewis, is a Filipino woman, but he wrote a book called Why Should the White Guys Have All the Fun? And it wasn't so much about racializing economic activity. It was about understanding that there's no magic going on. Basic economic and mathematical principles work whoever learns and whoever employs them, right? And the reality is the fact that when dollars turn around, they have to circulate in the community and generate wealth. And so if dollars are ever going to circulate in communities of color, we got to put some dollars in there. So I made the decision that it was worth it to me, even at the risk of loss, to believe enough in my community and to invest with people as I vet them. But I didn't make any assumptions that investing my money in with a Black person who's in investment in real estate investing was any more risky than putting it with anybody else. And so for me, it was important on a couple of levels. One, to put that capital in the community. Two, to have a sense of commonwealth, and to refute the notion that the white man's ice is colder. So it was important. It's on multiple levels. There's returns beyond the financial return for me to participate in this fund.
Very good, very good. And before we get to Matthew, both of you guys brought up something interesting, which I call risk management. And what the way we structured our deals is that when we invested $100,000 with Larry, Larry had to provide, him and his partner had to provide a secondary property as collateral for our $100,000 investment, so that, God forbid, if something happens on their end, the investors are protected, because we'll just liquidate the other property to make whole not just the equity that was invested, but also the agreed upon investment income. Marcus, could you do me a favor and bring up one of the properties that we used that Larry put up as collateral? And so, Matthew, why don't you take 15 seconds and share your thoughts on why it's important for you to be an investor, I mean, you did so well when we gave you the plaque, but I want to hear, your thoughts now.
Well, the idea is that from the wealth that we have in terms of the investors, we can make other people wealthier and help them actually do some good in their neighborhoods and their communities. Unfortunate thing about Black communities is that as we go right now, a lot of our homes and our real estate is basically not being passed on to the next generation. So if we can actually do something to actually help younger generations actually get property and keep property, that's a positive thing, because obviously they're not making any more land and we don't have enough of it so that we can have an actual say-so in this country. So, from my standpoint, just taking some of the money that I have been able to amass and putting it into this type of investment is a good thing for our community. It's a good thing for me because, I'm pretty sure, I studied investments when I was at Black Enterprise, and I'm pretty sure that real estate is one of the, it's not a slam dunk investment, but it's always something that you can turn around and get at least portion of your money back from selling it to someone else. So it's a safer investment than a lot of other things that you could put your money in. Although
You
it's
mean
not
safer than
necessarily-
crypto, which has no assets?
Yeah, I think it's safer than crypto. Okay.
And
again,
go ahead.
there's one last thing. You know, everybody has to have some place to live. You know, and that's always a selling point in terms of what you can do with land. Somebody is going to need some place to live, and you can always turn that into some sort of refuge, whether it's for your family members or somebody else in the future. So that's why.
So our goal is to generate 50% on our money. So when we invest $100,000, we seek to generate a $50,000 return with the entrepreneur, and then we either reinvest that money or we haven't paid out distributions yet because we want to just keep the fund growing. Marcus, let's put up the next property. Actually, since Larry's here, let's skip. Oh, everybody, if you look on the profile, there is the property. What's the address, Marcus? Read it for me. Actually, no, Larry, tell me about this property.
So this property is in the heart of Brockton, downtown Brockton, Massachusetts, that is. Our goal with this property is to head down to the county, of course, and get on their ballot to get a variance. And our goal is to build our 11-unit property with commercial space on the bottom. And we just waiting for them to give us the variance on this property so that we can proceed with developing this space. We had some preliminary discussions with the board there, and they have given us a thumbs up to move forward. So we've connected with the architect, we've connected with the engineers, and we've connected with a few individuals that could help spearhead this project and try to move it into the next phase. At the end of it, we will make it a shovel-ready property, and if it's feasible for our investors or any one of our opportunities at that point, we'll continue to develop the project. If not, we will sell it as a shovel-ready project to an end investor.
Very good, very good. Marcus, go back to the video, to the website, and let's scroll down to the next property. So to date, we've invested in 5 properties. Let's scroll down, since we have Larry here. Let's scroll down all the way to the property in Boston. So skip Philadelphia, go down again, Marcus. Keep going, keep going. All right, stop here. Okay, play the video. And this is I think this is a great opportunity to showcase the versatility of Larry as a real estate entrepreneur. What was the vision for this property? And then after, I don't know, how can I say this politically correct? After the white folks in the town were slow walking your paperwork, you decided to take the enormous amount of equity that was built up over the time over your ownership and exit. So you could give us a little history. I know you don't want to badmouth these people. Let me do it, but you know. You go ahead.
So yeah, we ran into a little difficulties, and this was definitely a case of, the brown and white type of atmosphere. We were trying to get a small variance in this property. There were some issues with the current structure that you see behind, and we were trying to get the city. This is the town of Pembroke. We were predominantly about 80–90% Caucasian, and our goal here was to try and expand our demographics and help some of those African American, Latino background get into these communities by being investors in these communities, because it's a little difficult for them to get in the current state. So our goal was to try and expand the horizon and bring some of our color into these type of communities. But we ran into some red tape that caused us to take a little detour. And what we were able to do is from the time that we actually acquired the property to the time that we actually exit the property, we were able to accumulate and caught the market at a great time and accumulate some equity in the property, where we basically salvaged some of our opportunities and potential earnings, future earnings, and was able to basically sell the property for a profit and be able to pay back the fund, the investment. So not the end that we were expecting and that we kind of envisioned, but again, it turned out to be one of those projects that we were still able to, surface some equity and pay back the investors on this project.
Yeah, for us, we invested $100,000. The plan was to be in this deal for a year. We ended up being in the deal for half a year longer than we had anticipated. And because of the leadership and it's like when you invest in real estate, the problem doesn't occur at the end. The problem begins in the beginning. And the beginning is where you pay too much, either for the development costs, the financing, or just a host of issues. But if you have competent management, they are able to keep things tight. And so as a result, even though they decided to sell and not deal with the wonderful people of this town, hint, not, they were returned not only our $50,000, but they gave us the required investment return for not just 1 year, but a year and a half. So we did very well on this investment. We made $60,000 off our $100,000 investment. We were very happy to do business with Larry and his partner Ascari. That's Ascari right there. Mark, is something's wrong with the computer? It's just going in circles. Okay, just show the inside, and then we can just show the inside. So in this property, you guys were going to do just like a gut rehab, right? And
right. So we bought it as a shell. Our goal was to basically go in and finish the property up. We made some small alterations to the structure and the layout of the property, and our goal was basically just to go in and finish the property at this point. The variance that we were asking for is because based on the current square footage of the property, we felt that it was going to be a hard sell at the end. So our goal was to try and get them to get us a variance to extend the front of the building, so that we can maximize the square footage of the property.
Right. But I thought you did a great job by exiting, and that old saying, you got to know when to fold them, when to hold them, and
right.
So you guys did a great job on that. Okay, Marcus, let's go back up to, and if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Let's go to the video up top. Keep going. Right here. So this is a Black female real estate entrepreneur. Her name is Daphne. And on this block that we invested with her mother, the family home is like a couple of doors down, and she wanted to buy this property on the same block, and she couldn't access any capital. She got debt from some hard money people, but she couldn't raise any equity. And the few Black people that said they were going to invest with her as individuals, they didn't come through. And so because, when you do things as individuals, it's more of a challenge. But when you do things as a group, and, every other community does things as a group. It's just, for some reason, it's so hard for Black people to work together as a group. But we're going to change that. I believe in my people. I believe in our community. I just believe we need effective leadership. And I'm so honored to be working with such a strong group of investors that are providing that leadership. Marcus, show the video us as walking in so that we can see it. And in this case, she only needed $50,000. And so we invested, and early next year, she'll be returning our $50,000 plus a $25,000 profit payment, investment income earned. And we're pretty assured that we're going to get our money, because her mother's house, which is a couple of doors down the block, we own 50% of it as collateral. So if she doesn't pay us our $75,000 on this property, we will sell our 50% ownership in her mother's property. And we don't want to do that. And I don't believe that we will do it, because my understanding is that she's really doing a great job. She's working with another Black woman. Nicole's last name escapes me. What's Nicole's last name? Anybody? Anyway, Nicole from New Jersey is a real estate entrepreneur. And she was, what's her name?
Nicole Cuelas.
Right, Nicole Cuelas. Nicole Cuelas was another woman. They didn't know each other. I was very proud to introduce Nicole and Daphne, and they came together and they're doing this project together. So that's one of the things, the roles that we like to play is we like to bring Black people together. And if one person has more strength, and Nicole was able to bring a better debt, hard money debt arrangement. And so that's why they were able to move for this. So we worked as a community. We came together, we identified, we told her, here, you should partner with this other woman. And we're seeing strong Black women creating wealth and jobs in the community. And that makes you happy, right, Beatrice? Yeah, very good, very good. Okay, so now let's move to the next property. Marcus, the next property on our list is what? Oh, Stephen, yes. So yes, this is an interesting project. So Stephen is an experienced real estate entrepreneur. Move to the inside of the middle of the video, Marcus. This project is in Brooklyn. There was the Black owner of the property was going to be foreclosed on. He came in, and instead of the property being taken over by somebody that doesn't look like us, Steve came in and made a deal with the guy. He agreed to let him live in the basement, and he's helping him get a rental voucher because he's an older gentleman, and he fell behind on his mortgage. And so Steve bought it from him and is letting him stay in the basement for life with a rental voucher from the city. And then the other second and third floor are going to be gut renovated and rented out to single women, single women, not Black, but single women. I mean, they're overwhelmingly Black and Hispanic, but we don't make decisions on rental and housing based on skin color, because that would be against the law. But the people who are going to be living here are going to be overwhelmingly people of color, just because of the neighborhood. This is an affordable housing play, and we're very happy. We've already been, Stephen has already paid us once our $50,000 profit, and he wanted to use the money for a second year. So we let him keep the principal for a second year. He paid the $50,000. And so we're very happy to extend him a second year line of credit. And he has an excellent track record with us. And so this is just another example of a Black entrepreneur who needed quick turnaround. Like we can do, 5 to 7 day turnaround on money. And so we were very, very pleased to be able to help him on this. Okay, Marcus, let's move to the next property. Okay, yeah, no, this one was a learning experience. This was our first property. The Black entrepreneur couldn't finish the property. And so unfortunately we had to take it off his hands. And so this was a headache. This property was about $123,000 behind in its mortgage. It had a hard money debt loan to someone that wanted to take the property. It was a predator for $60,000. So we had to first pay off the $60,000 to get rid of this white guy. Then once we got rid of him, we had to pay $123,000 to make the mortgage current. And I'm very proud to say that the mortgage as of the end of this month is current. So we're not behind in this mortgage. The mortgage is paid. And this property is Marcus, start the video in the middle so people can see what it looks like on the inside. This property is a 50 by 100 lot. It is a one family with a basement. We intend to get the basement apartment made legal, and we have a 4-bedroom apartment upstairs. Right now, you see me in the video pointing to the electrical and the hardwood floors. So we spent, let's see, where's the budget here? We spent 20, almost $27,000 on electricals. That's almost electrical cost to rewire the whole house, $27,000. We spent 37,000, basically almost $38,000 on the plumbing in the house and outside the house. We had to reconnect the plumbing there. We had to spend $2,700 on an engineer. We spent money on and these are all Black professionals. So Black engineer, Black plumber, Black electrician, Black pest control company, Black asbestos tester, Black real estate lawyer. This property here is a great example of when Black people come together. We kept the property from being taken over by these white people. We used Black capital to save the property. Now, why is this property worth saving? I mean, look at the picture. That's what the property looked like in the inside before we improved it. Look how everything was just a mess. Somebody homeless was living in there. And this is a working class, lower middle class neighborhood in the Bronx. And they are so happy that the property is being renovated. Okay, pause there. Marcus, put the video back in the front so we can see the picture of it. Matter of fact, put up the other video, and I'm going to continue speaking. Put up the other video, the one that I sent you on LinkedIn. Put that video up. Yes. So this is the Black plumber, Laddie's Plumbing, and this property was slated to be demolished. So the previous owner had cut the electrical, the plumbing, the gas, and the sewer. So we had to reconnect it. So Marcus, move the video along so they can see where they're digging. And so they had to reconnect. They had to reconnect the water, and that's why it was so expensive. The plumbing. I know some people are listening and they're like, "Oh my God, $37,000 for plumbing," and so on a one-family house, yeah, we had to reconnect the sewer pipe all the way to the city main in the middle of the street, and so this is them. They're finishing up the job here. And so, yeah, they put a big hole, and they connected the sewer and the water. And so now, Marcus, pause the video now. Oh, no, let the video go. Let the video go. I'll tell you when I want you to pause it. I want you guys to see something. There's going to be, Marcus, when we show the other house, when I point across the street, I want you to pause the video when I point to the other house. Anyway, our plan is this lot is 50 by 100 feet. We intend to tear this house down in about 3 to 5 years, and we intend to build. Well, where's the part that I go back to the video and find where I'm pointing to. I'm pointing to the property across the street. Anyway, we intend to tear down this property, and we intend to build a 6-unit semi-attached townhouse on the lot. The city of New York is rezoning the properties in the city, and right there, that's what I want to see. Right there, pause that. So make the screen big. So we intend to build this house on our lot, and we have enough room. We have 50 by 100 square feet, basically 5,001 feet. So we're going to build that property there. And so we believe this property is immensely valuable. Just because the city of New York is rezoning the city, they in neighborhoods that are near train stations. If you're a mile close to a subway station, you'll be able to build 1 floor up if the zoning passes next year. And we are a few blocks away from the subway station. So we're going to be able to build that property or even higher on our lot. So this lot is very valuable, and we're very happy that it's a part of our portfolio. And we think our investors are going to be very happy once the development is finished on this property. So we're just renovating the one family just so that the tenants can service the mortgage on it, and then just hold it for appreciation. And then in a couple of years, tear it down, and then build this. And this is going to be a Section 8 development. So we're going to be building affordable housing using Black people to construct it, Black plumbers, electricians, and the like. And we think this is a great example of Black people creating wealth and building jobs in the community. Okay, Marcus, get out of that video. Now, if we're, let's go to the group. And so if we're going to be able to be successful in building this vision of raising hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to invest in real estate throughout the country, we're going to need not only entrepreneurs like Larry, but we're going to need lawyers and doctors like Dr. Parker and Counselor Beatrice to, hey Beatrice, how do you pronounce your last name?
Cazo, after all these years.
I know, Cazo. I'm, you know, and I'm Haitian too, you know, and you think I would get that, Cazo. Okay, I just didn't want to butcher it. And so, you know, I want to get back to, you know, I want to get back to the conversation about why it's important for us. I mean, we've proven the business model. We have generated in 2023, we have generated $125,000 in investment income. Next year, we're going to be selling 20% of Fenton Avenue, the property we just looked at. We're going to be selling that 20% to Fund II. We're going to use that capital to finish the work there and to reduce its debt on the property. And then we're going to be raising even more money because of the change in city zoning. We want to, you know, invest about 75% of our capital with entrepreneurs like Larry, and then 25% of it in-house with properties that we acquire in the city of New York, particularly in Queens, Brooklyn, and the Bronx, because of the rezoning that's coming. We want to get vacant lots. We don't want to displace anybody. We're not going to buy buildings that have tenants in them and then profit by jacking up the rent and pushing them out. No, we want to buy vacant lots and build new construction and build Section 8 housing so that working class and low-income families will have quality housing, and investors get the profit from doing good and doing well at the same time. The one thing I'll end by saying is, these white people that own the overwhelming majority of commercial property in Black neighborhoods, they're not doing it because they love us. They, you know, it has nothing to do with their feelings. They're doing it because it's immensely profitable. I don't know how to politically correctly to say this to Black people. Listen, to the lawyers and doctors, we're not asking you to live in the hood. No one is asking you to even visit it. You don't have to come and live there, nothing. But we are asking you to invest in it because it's profitable. You don't have to live there, but your money will help other Black people who are doing less fortunate than you get quality housing, and you will get returns that are greater than what the white boys are paying you at whatever investment financial management firm you're with. Because we don't have a lot of overhead. There's not a lot of fat. We don't spend a lot of money on advertising and marketing and fancy lawyers. Our goal is to put as much of the profit in your hands. And we believe that there is a significant amount of wealth that's trapped inside Black neighborhoods. And so let's start with you, Beatrice. You know, I know you and I have had conversations about what's going on in your community, in the Haitian community, where you see outsiders who have always owned the land, and then it's being handed to other outsiders. I really believe that if we come together, we can create a national movement of building wealth in our community. And, you know, before we go, I want to hear your final thoughts.
No, absolutely. I mean, anyone who's ever come down here in Florida, or especially down in South Florida, Little Haiti, you know, predominantly Black neighborhoods are basically all gone. You can't really afford anything there, no, at this time. And I remember when I first moved here back in 1999, and it was like, oh no, I don't want to buy anything in Little Haiti. I want to move to the burbs, suburbs, etc. But today I would love to be able to say I own a piece of property in Little Haiti, and it's impossible now. It's impossible because the competition and pretty much everything is gone. And you have high rises there now, and businesses are coming in. I think there's a casino that bought a large section of the area, And so at this juncture, unless you had already owned something there, you can't buy. It's, but that's how it is in a lot of different neighborhoods. A lot of neighborhoods are, especially if you have elderly that have passed away and now their kids are like, I don't want to live there. And so they find someone who says, I'll give you cash. I'll pay cash for your property. And they think it's a great deal. And then they sell it. And next thing you know, now you can't even buy it back. Or you can twice or three times the value of what you sold it for. So, it is what.
And Matthew, you're in Brooklyn. I mean, okay, you were smart. You saw the potential early. And you're in what, Bed-Stuy? What part of the hood are you in?
I'm in Ocean Hill, which is right off of Bed-Stuy. It's the next neighborhood over.
Right. And it's funny, I've been to Matthew's house, and I remember getting out of the train station and looking for where he lived. And I walked out of the train station. I must have walked 5 feet, and I was like, oh shit, this is his house. Like, you're like steps away from the subway entrance. Your house, and I just looked at it, I was like, oh, his place is valuable. I would like to take this from him. I mean, with love, of course. I meant that with all due respect. When did you get your house?
2004. No, 2008, sorry.
So you've had it for a hot minute.
Yeah.
And you've seen the appreciation in the neighborhood change.
That's right.
How would you describe it?
Well, let's just say that the value has.
Oh my God, you sound like somebody that works for white people. He's like, it's like, let me pick my words carefully. Let me pick my words carefully, because this is going to be on YouTube.
The value's doubled, a little bit more than doubled. And that's pretty conservative, depending upon, everything in New York is depending upon who you can get to purchase. So,
Right.
The value that the city has placed on the property it's like I said, it's been a good investment, and I could walk away right now from this and be pretty happy.
And let me be clear with people. Your home is not an investment. Matthew has a 3-unit property. So he has 2 other units that generate income. So if you're buying a 1-family house and you think your home is an investment, it's not. Your home is, talk to an accountant. An accountant will tell you that your home is an expense. Your home is an investment when you're sleeping and the property is generating income. Right, Larry?
100% correct.
Yeah. So anyway, Matthew, how's the neighborhood changed?
Well, when I first got here.
Do you need to get a dictionary so that you can use the right words so you don't offend anybody? Because we can wait.
No, the neighborhood, this is on the edge of Brownsville also, which actually is a pretty tough neighborhood if anybody doesn't know.
Can you move the camera so that we can see your whole face? Like, you're cut off.
There's a whole situation. There was a situation where the police were trying to reclaim the neighborhood when I purchased. There was a lot of open lots. There was it's primarily a black and brown neighborhood. There's a lot of crime. And there wasn't as many people in the neighborhood.
And now?
Since then, all the open lots have been filled in with buildings. The neighborhood has transitioned to being more multicultural, and there's a lot more white folks in the neighborhood. There's a lot more alternative individuals in the neighborhood, I'll say.
What does alternative mean?
Well, I'm looking for the right word.
You mean the word that won't get you fired?
No, I work for myself, so I'm not going to get fired. But I don't want people to think that I have any.
You lose clients?
Well, maybe. I don't know. There are. Well,
Okay.
there's a lot.
Don't mention the neighborhood changed, and there's more diversity,
and more diversity in the neighborhood,
and property values went up, and you're doing well.
property values have gone up. The only problem with the neighborhood right now is that we could use more real businesses. A lot of the storefronts are still empty. So the neighborhood could use some more services, but in terms of the housing, there's a lot more housing, and there's different types of people in the neighborhood. So it's coming along. It's not perfect, but it's better.
Very good, very good. Last thing I'll say for you is that for anybody watching this video, Matthew is a single with no children, never married.
Yeah.
And so just throwing that out there. Willie,
Yeah.
how we doing, Willie?
What do you want me coming on?
No, just how you doing?
Oh, I'm well.
I'm about to mess with you, so I just wanted to start off by asking you how you're doing.
Oh, I'm well. It's just in these turbulent times, in the season, lots going on. The sense of community to me is very important. And you're asking my two fellow panelists what's happening in their neighborhoods in terms of gentrification and all of that stuff, which really represents, in some ways, domestic colonization. And I think for me, the whole thing is about, the notion of I'm against predatory behavior, no matter who's doing it, if it's a white snake or a black snake. And so even though, if some of the comments about the predators are, white people moving in or all of that, I think it's, for me, it's problematic when people who look like me don't think in a communal way. So
the dirty little secret is that in Africa we weren't, like, white people did not come into the jungles and snatch black people and sell them as slaves. It was other black people that sold us. So your words ring very true.
Yeah, and so I just think in this moment, when Reggie Lewis wrote his book, why should the white guys have all the fun? He was poking at the notion that these economic principles and this creativity that you are practicing as a fund manager, the vision that we have to have and to look at and say, you know what, investing works. Money compounds, money circulates, money generates wealth, and wealth can make us all better off. And that's not unique to people who don't look like us. So I'm less interested in preventing them from mooching off of us than us pulling our resources together and having the economy that we can have. We form an underground economy, right? When we can't participate in the mainstream economy. This is just another economic stream where we can make money and do good and do well. This is doing things the right way to achieve a noble end. And so I will never tell folk what they ought to be doing. I want to lead by example. So when the opportunity to be a part of Black Real Estate Fund came up, for me it was a no-brainer. I asked people who look like me to believe in me, and so it was my opportunity to believe in people who look like me from a financial standpoint. So happy to be a part of it.
I remember a conversation we had maybe a year and a half ago or something, almost 2 years ago, where you said on a Zoom when we were in it was the investment committee, and you said that Thomas, the documents that Thomas is providing for investors, the structure in which the deals are being presented, the transparency which he provides. You said something to the effect, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you said something to the effect that it is, in many ways, is similar to what the white boys are giving you, but it's significantly more in terms of transparency, and it's very, and you're excited that it's a group of people that look like you that are engaged in this practice. Do you remember that conversation we had?
I do, and when we say white boys euphemistically, in terms of where the money where the economic centers are in this country. Even if, the whole notion of some of us are convinced that, quote, the white man's ice is colder. And part of the challenge you had when we were initially getting this thing up and running is I felt like there are people who, when it was the real estate forum, where people who were looking to join the forum but have an opportunity to get shares of the Reg A at a lower price, I felt like people were asking an accountability and a due diligence of you that they don't ask of other folk when they put their money with them. And so my comment was in terms of, this is not just a project of I just want to do well and I don't have the same metric and standard of good stewardship for my monies because I'm dealing with people of color. It's the same metric, but when I looked at that metric and my willingness to invest in people who look like me, your sense of understanding that there's this kind of natural skepticism by us about us, that you had to preempt by doing everything in keeping with what's going to be clean, but also superseding the transparency, so that you can reassure people who may be overly concerned about whether or not things are being done right and well because people of color are doing it. So that was acceptable. That was pleasing to me. It was unfortunate, but it was also it bolstered my confidence that it was clear that you were going above and beyond to make sure that everything was on the up and up. If anybody want to look closely, there you didn't have anything to fear for what they were looking at.
Yeah, and it brings you something. I'm looking at Beatrice, and Beatrice, I'm not going to speak for you, but as a Black woman, you're a woman, you're a Black, you're a lawyer. I mean, I'm sure you tell me, you've been in situations where you felt you've had to be, you can't be at where the white boys are. You have to be 10 times better. For some, for some generations, we were taught, no, you can't be as good as the white boys. You have to be better if you're going to do as half as well as they are. And did you have that because you're the only woman on the panel? Did you have to deal with that?
Well, I mean, I am in a profession that is predominantly male, and probably predominantly white male. And this year I celebrated 24 years. And I think that I'm holding my own, right?
So you started right out of high school as a lawyer?
Right, exactly. That's it, But yes, in 2024, I will celebrate 25 years as a practicing attorney in the state of Florida. And so, yes, you do have to work really hard. You do have to prove yourself daily. And sometimes you have to prove yourself to your own kind, right? I guess just like Dr. Parker was saying, how, the other side's, what is it? The ice is colder over there. And so, yes, you're constantly having to prove yourself to just not people that don't necessarily look like you, but the folks that look like you too. And so, yes. But as it relates to everything that we've been saying, just to bring it back around, yes, we're not saying, obviously, we're not pointing fingers. We're not saying that, what others are doing are necessarily bad. What we are saying is that it's time that we, level the playing field. If that means us combining our coins together to make sure that, we're able to acquire properties in predominantly minority neighborhoods. And again, while making money, we're making sure that, people continue to have a place to stay. We continue to have an area where it's affordable, where we can help, little mom and pops maintain their family homes. That's what we're about. That's what we're doing. And, not saying that the other investors are doing anything necessarily bad. We're just saying that we can invest in our own communities as well.
Very
So
good. Very good.
that is.
Yeah, thank you. I can't even tell you, we would not be able to launch this fund if it wasn't for the core group of, especially the doctors and lawyers. I think doctors and lawyers make up more than 50% of our investor base and more than 50% of the capital invested. And so, you know, I'm really, really grateful for their confidence in our vision. And I know, you know, I know that, and I've had conversations with you, Larry, on, you know, just how critical it's been to have this access to capital. So I want to end it with you just sharing, you know, what is the vision for you and your firm, and how important you think we're going to grow, and then we're going to end the Zoom. If there's any questions, please put it in the question box. Otherwise, I'm going to end it with you, Larry. Take your voice, mute. Take the mute off.
I'm sorry about that. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes. Go ahead, Larry.
Hello?
Yeah, we hear you. You're good.
Hold on one second.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3. You're good. You're good, Larry.
Maybe he can't hear us.
Try again, Larry.
Hello?
Good, good. You're there. You're good.
Okay, I'm sorry. I missed the last part, Tom. So if
No,
you could-
just tell us, you know, how helpful it's been to have Black lawyers and doctors and other professionals giving you access to equity capital for your firm.
No, it's definitely helpful. Just to, you know, have professionals in those categories just put their trust and their faith in the fund, and then be able to kind of trickle down to our firm as far as from an investor and construction company and builder. It just adds a lot of value and makeup of the entire team that's investing in this, you know, in this venture that we're pushing forward to, that can enhance everyone at the end of the day. So it's a great opportunity to partner with folks of that stature, and you know, we hope that our experience would involve and influence a lot more people within the sector.
Yeah. And before I go, Larry, you were originally working in corporate America, right? What were you doing in corporate America?
Yeah, so I worked in corporate America for about 10 to 15 years, and I was basically involved in the financial reporting. I was a financial reporting officer for a huge brokerage firm in the city, where I worked there for about 10 to 15 years. And when I left corporate America, I was senior vice president at the company I was working for. And the reason I left was just the satisfaction and the value of what was happening in the corporate sector was just not rewarding enough. You know, I felt like I was making everyone else money, and none of that money was not being poured back into our community. So I just felt like, you know, exploring in this kind of opportunity where I can work with, you know, folks of my own kind, and be able to kind of, you know, bring this funds and this opportunities back to our, you know, back to our culture and back to our, you know, communities. I just felt there was a lot more reward. I guess it was a huge risk. I definitely was able to work my way up in the corporate ladder, but you know, the reward was not satisfying. And again, at the end of the day, it's not always about dollars. It's always about the impact that you're having in the community and the folks that are around you. So this brings great value to see a panel of discussioners and people that we're talking with at this point, and just to be able to see that everyone kind of here shares the same interest in and looking forward to the same goal. So it's a great pleasure to be a part of this.
Well, thank you. You know, we look forward to investing millions and millions of dollars with you in the future. And as your firm grows, we look forward to growing with you. Marcus, come online. Very good. Any last words you want to say? Because you know you're going to be running the firm in the future, so and to take 5 seconds to say something.
I'm very excited to be with the fund. You know, I'm really interested in seeing where it's going, and I have really high hopes for it.
I'm going to be retiring in 20 years. I'm 55, so I look forward to retiring at age 75. And I see my son and my 2 daughters taking over the business, just like the big firms on Wall Street. They have their family members be a part of it. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining. For those that are interested in investing, for those that are interested in looking to access our capital for your real estate projects, please visit blackrealestateforum.com, blackrealestateforum.com. I want to thank you for joining us this evening. We've had a very successful year. April, at the end of April makes 3 years of the fund existing, and we expect to double our revenues next year in investment income by working with people like Larry, Thomas, and the others that were discussed. And so again, for information on how you can invest, the minimum investment is $10,000. And so for more information on how you can invest with us, please visit blackrealestateforum.com, blackrealestateforum.com. Thank you so much and have a great night.